we're a full-fledged winter. Oh my goodness. Kind of pretty, but rather chilly. But in the meantime, we're going to go inside and I'm going to share something with you guys. I come on to my last visit to the White Birch clan at Koi's gifting site. Some pretty amazing things. So we might have to do some of this kind of stuff too while I'm waiting. Got to navigate through the weather, right? The weather systems. I'll keep the content coming for you all, and I thank you for your patience, and I thank you all for being here. Stay tuned. So without further ado, let's get into this little highlight video. We're back in the house. Yes, winter, I think, has officially gotten here. We've been getting a lot of snow, but it's okay. We're okay. You know, I felt that coming on for a good week, maybe more. And even my animals, you could see they're just unsettled, and your body actually feels, I mean, for any of those that live, you know, where you get these 4 seasons and then you get a full winter, your body in a way adjusts to the season change, right? That change is coming, you feel it coming, and then there's that one day you feel it. It's in your bones, you can feel it's here. And that was about 3 days before all this snow hit and the cold temperatures, right? 3 nights back was the first night that all of the gift that I go and set out in the gifting site, stayed. The Sasquatch didn't show up, and it was probably, I say it was about -12, -13. And for those that have been here for a while, you know, I've mentioned if it gets any colder than -10, they don't show up, right? And plus it was snowing and storming, and it's just, they don't show. That was the first night. For the past 3, I have not bothered. It's just too cold, too much snow. Supposedly it's supposed to warm up a little bit, and the snow is supposed to be quitting here by tomorrow. And we were sitting on the 23rd. It's the 23rd today. As I mentioned outside, we'll do these videos, right? There's a lot I need to catch you up on. I still have some back cam footage that I haven't had time to go over. Plus, I have some older trail cam videos that I would like to share with you too, as we get, there's going to be points through the winter where I can't get out there, right? And we'll catch up with all this other stuff, all these other things. And I've got some amazing still images that I've been able to get over the past year that I haven't had a chance to share with you. Planning on doing a few more Q&A videos. They will be coming up too through the winter, so stay tuned for that. I will keep the content coming, right? So what we're going to do here, this was at Koi's site, at Koi's bowl. If you guys think back, I picked up the bowl and had to reset the bowl up, and I left him the crystal and the stone. I'll talk more about those stones. I had a few people asking me what kind of stones, and they are from the river. They're a river stone. There's no specific name for them other than they're healing stones, right? In the language, in Cree. And you use them. You use them to place on, whether it be an ulcer or a sore, anywhere where there's pain or negative energy. It kind of pulls that out. It helps heal. These are some of the still images I was able to grab out of the footage. There's one here. It's kind of blowing my mind, right? Remember that root system that was straight ahead of me from the gifting site? And I wasn't seeing this. Even when I looked over there, all I was seeing was a root, this gray type of root. I wasn't seeing the brown head that looked like a Bigfoot back there. But there was a point where I was filming straight west of the bowl, and I just happened to, I had changed camera position, and I was turning my camera to to the west. And I had a closer, I was kind of zoomed in a little bit, and I was just moving my camera to the west, and I had like a second, maybe 2 seconds of a closer view of this route. I have no doubt that this wasn't one of the clan there. And you guys are going to probably see more than just him or her there. But we'll focus on the specific, like the one that I'm going to point out. There's probably other things. You'll see other things in the picture. I'm sure a lot of people do. You know, people will use the word pareidolia, but I don't dismiss anything, right? Because a lot of times it is strange, because there are times where you can have just a few seconds of video, and in one frame you take a still image from one of the frames, because you're looking at 30 frames in 1 second. Can you imagine? So if I have 2 or 3 seconds, I have 90 frames in there, and in one frame there's faces everywhere. They're everywhere and in everything, and everywhere you look there's a face or a head or a shape, and then the next 2 frames over there's nothing there. It's just a blur. It's a blur, right? So a lot of time, I don't know how it happens, why it happens, but it does happen. And I'm not saying that every one of them is a face of a Bigfoot or a cryptid or something like that, but they're there. And sometimes you see them and sometimes you don't, right? I just wanted to bring that up because we got to please consider, this is very important. Please consider distance, depth perception, shadow, lighting. My camera movement, a lot of times I'm moving around while I'm able to grab these still images and these little video clips for you all. A lot of people will think, oh, they all look so different. Or, oh, that looks like a dog man. Or, oh my goodness, that looks like a troll. If you go back a couple years ago, I did shoot a video of myself back in the trees, and I did my best to be a Bigfoot hiding in the trees. Look at the still images that I took. Consider all these things when you're looking at this stuff, and don't assume anything, right? Nothing is black and white. Sometimes nothing is as it seems. When I go over my footage, I try to go to the ones that are most obvious to me, because I go back in my review process and I remember, right? I was there, walking the ground, boots on the ground. And I can go back and I remember, okay, I got to go to the point in the video, in the review process, where I heard this, where I heard something, or where I thought I seen something, and really I comb that area of video, because I remember. And that's where I go first when I'm going. I think all the ones that stood out in my memory as I returned from my Bigfoot road trip, that's where I go first. And it's usually 10 for 10. I will find something or one of them, right? So consider all those things when we go through this stuff, and when I bring more of these types of videos to you, or when we're just looking in the videos themselves. Like I say, there's a lot of things we got to keep in mind as we're, looking at all this stuff and going through. Even as you're going through your own footage or your own videos, there are some people that send me little video clips or email me pictures that they found, or someone else's pictures, and I love that. I enjoy that. There's a lot of things to consider that would cause distortion or disfigurement. The nose seems disproportionate. It's usually there are factors to consider. There are things to consider. Like I say, movement, shadow, lighting, distance, depth. Remember, cameras only see in 2 dimensions. We see in 3. Lots. We've got to consider lots. For instance, the 2 little, I think they're cryptids. They're the mole number 2. People were thinking dog men, all this stuff. These things were very small, right? I know how far they were from me. They weren't very far at all. They maybe were 60 feet behind me. And so it looked like to me like they were coming out of the ground. Maybe there was a cave, or maybe they had a den there or something. Oh, I don't know. But they were tiny. They were about the size of a small dog. That's it, right? No big dog men. This wasn't a big dog man or a larger sized cryptid. And it did look canine. It did. But very small, right? Very small. I get a lot of people saying a lot of things. There's so many different looking Sasquatch. I don't believe that at all. I think there's variables, there's colors. Some of them have different colors. Of course, some would have broader ridge brows and a wider bridged nose, but they all look very much the same. But anyway, okay, I'm going to bring this up now. Here we go. This was straight south of the Gifting Bowl, and I believe where the jays, the gray jays, I seen 2 of them fly back here. We're going to stick to screen center. We'll zoom in a little bit there and get rid of this side panel. We're looking here. This is where we're looking. You can see the eyes here, brow ridges on the top there, and the nose here. We'll zoom in on him a little bit. Very good, right? To me, it looks very young. And again, I go back to where I was feeling things, sensing things, picking up, whether it be sounds, shuffling, footfalls. The camera didn't really pick up the footfalls back there when they were happening, but I remember when I heard them and where I was hearing them from. And I start reviewing, right? I start going back to that stuff. And here, I believe this is one of Coy's group back there. I don't think this would be Coy, but to me it looks like a very young one, and it was lower on the horizon. It wasn't I didn't seem very tall. We're going to bring in the diffuse glow here and see if that don't bring him out a little bit more. Get rid of that blur. Oh yes, very good, very good. It's a wonderful thing, you know, and we can find them. We know they're there. I mean, you all can attest to this. We hear the wood knocks and the vocals and all the activity once I get there, right? It starts usually right when I get there. I still believe at this point that they sense me on my way, or I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they're able to, but it does seem that way, because there are times where I've arrived, turned my key off my truck, shut my truck off, and I know sooner than open my door and put both of my feet on the ground, and wham, you hear that very loud wood knock, and it usually is close, and I know immediately one is there. So it starts right from the get-go, right? I'll get rid of the diffuse glow, and we'll bring in the next image. So yes, this one was straight south of Coy's Bowl. So when I turned my camera and placed it onto the 2Y birch sticks that he laid there, right where I put the crystal and the healing stone, it would have been behind that tree, right? This is interesting. This was, I believe I actually pointed this out in the video. I was zoomed to the south, and there was another root system back in the trees there. And I had an arrow pointing up screen left, kind of up towards the top of the screen. This was what was back there. And I was able to grab 2 stills of this one. What the green you see in the front is spruce boughs, right? And it just happened to focus back in between the spruce boughs just a little bit, and he's back there. He is back there. We'll zoom in a bit here. It's kind of amazing. Okay. You know what? I just noticed now, I didn't see this the first time. His left eye, you could see the iris, the eye, the whole eye. Right? You could see that. I'm going to point that out here. Right here. That would be his left eye. And this would be his right eye. And this is his nose. His mouth would be here somewhere. Chin. we're only getting a little bits of the face through these spruce boughs, right? And this was a long ways back in the trees. If you can recall, I zoomed in to the west, and that's where I got the owl. I think it was an owl. It just seemed, there too, it was a long ways back, so it would have had to have been a pretty darn big owl, right? Okay, we're going to bring in okay, let's bring in some diffuse glow here. See how much we can get of him there. Huh, okay. There we go. Very good, right? Very good. As I mentioned, we got to consider movement. My camera moving, the subject maybe moving slightly or moving. It sometimes distorts the image and sometimes distorts the subject. Like as I mentioned, if you go back, all these things we got to consider. And I mean, there wasn't one still image where I looked the same. And 2 or 3 of the still images, I didn't even look human, right? So that says a lot right there. That says a lot. And I wasn't even that far back in the trees. Sometimes these guys are way back there and I zoom in, and I mean, you can't deny this isn't one of the clan, right? There was more than I thought back there. So we will go on to still image 2, and I believe this is another one of that same one. And he obviously, for me, looking at the picture at the still, he turned more to his right because we're getting more of a profile picture. And this is what I'm talking about too. You'll see these lines that are running horizontal across the image. Up here too, there's some there. Or it could have been my camera movement too, repositioning my camera. But you do get some of this stuff happening within the still images, the captures, right? The stills. And remember again, 30 frames per second. In 1 second, there are 30 pictures there you can grab, if you can hit them all. I have a difficulty finding every frame, 30 frames in 1 second. A lot of people have said to use your arrow buttons on your keypad, on your keyboard, and people suggested other ways of doing it, but I still am not getting every single frame. I'm still able to get some pretty amazing stuff. So he is here, it's the same one, and it's more of a profile image, I think, because to me it looks like he's more, like I say, he's turned to his right, faced south, or he's just turning to face south. But we'll bring up let's throw in that diffuse glow, because it is pretty amazing. Okay, let's bring that. Okay, now, okay, this is amazing. This was the one I was telling you when I first started this, that as I'm I was headed south, I was walking with my camera, and I was going to film to the south where the owl and the last image that I just shared with you, that's where he was as well. Okay, and I just got like a second of that root system that was straight north while I was putting the gifts in the gifting bowl. Okay, you need to really, really look at this, and I've got 2 still images here. I have no doubt. What's bugging me, or not bugging me, but what's amazing me, it's not so much bugging me, it's not a negative, is how I couldn't see this while I was standing there. Like, I couldn't see the brown, and I mean, let's just zoom in on this. You can already see his screen right. You can already see him or her on the right of this image, and that's just amazing stuff. Okay, let's go over there. Okay, I can work from there. I don't have to say much about this, right? I will point out, though, in case someone's not quite seeing what I'm seeing. So we got a brow ridge here. We got a brow ridge, an eye. The other eye was just behind the tree here, would be. We got nose, and a part of the mouth, a little bit of the mouth, and the top of the head would be here. I guess as part of the neck or hair, and this tree, of course. I think this tree, and seeing this is a bunch of tree roots, and she or he, I think this might be part of this birch tree. And see all of the birch here, almost every tree that's in this image is birch. Is why I call this place too the White Birch Clan, and they do make their structures with this, with these trees. I don't know if down here, I almost thought this was a foot, right? This is just a guess. It looks like hairy leg. It looks like, to me, it looked like a hairy leg, but like I say, I don't know. And the foot, right? A big toe, maybe? Yeah. That's a guess. But up at the top here, no, not so much. Let's get rid of all the blue. We will zoom in on that. I'm going to bring in the diffuse glow here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, one of the clan members. That's not just a root pile. That's not just a root system. There's too much detail there. There's it's one of the clan. But again, what amazes me is how I could not see that head and parts of the body that were there. I think all I was seeing was this gray tree, was the sticks in the front, and this root beside it. It would have been off to its left. I wasn't seeing the darkness, the head shape when I looked over there, right? So that is a mystery to me. That's I'm gonna bring in the second still I took off of this, and this freaks me out a little bit, but you'll see why. You'll see why here in a couple seconds. Okay, here it is. Everything kind of is the same, but where did the top of his head go? And the only thing that I could guess was that a branch, because there was a little bit of a breeze, a branch could be, or something there could have come down in that frame. I don't know. But it whatever happened there, it like cut off the top of his head, right? Or her head. I don't know how some of this stuff happens, what's causing the alteration or the disfigurement or the, is why I'm saying we have to really be careful when we're looking at this stuff, when we're reviewing these things and talking about this stuff. Nothing is black and white with all of this, but oh my goodness, I didn't even see the eye when it is very, yeah, no doubts here. Okay, but this is where I want to, I'm sure you can see it already. Like I've got his head is flat. It's flat, right? But look at the eye. Look at that eye. There's an eye. Of course, you see the nose. Oops. Well, I'll leave it like that. Some of the mouth. It's a little bit blurry. Let's bring that diffuse in. Diffuse glow. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, where was I? That just blows me away. Okay. I'm just kind of stunned here for a couple seconds. Yes, so these were what I was able to get off of. These were what I was able to get off of that. Some of that, I still haven't combed completely through it, like frame by frame, every 30 frames per second, right? I haven't been able to comb through the entire thing, but these were the ones that come out most obvious to me. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but I am able to go back to the places, because I was there, boots on the ground, experiencing all this real time, right? I was able to go back to those places where I knew there was activity, where I heard the sound. As I was wrapping up things there at Coy's gifting site, I was hearing stuff all the way around me. There was twig snapping going on all the way around me. My battery's going dead and I've got to leave, right? Not just because of my battery, but I wanted to make it to that gifting bowl number 2, which I'm very glad I did, right? A lot happened once I got to that area. And that's a good mile south where that second gifting bowl is from Coy. I believe it's a different group, and I still think that road allowance is some sort of boundary for them. I hope you enjoyed Kind of Amazing, right? Kind of Amazing. Thank you all for being here. And for now, we're stuck in the house. So thank you all for being here. And I appreciate all of yous for staying with me and coming with me on this journey. I really do. I appreciate it. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the trees. Bye for now.